you can't have platoon leaders or LPOs leading people recklessly, just knocking in doors and just go, 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 and just keep going, 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 and just knock down doors and go, go, go. They have to apply some intelligence. But they also, at the same time, they can't sit there and debate in a committee when they're under fire. They can't just sit there and keep taking fire because they don't know the perfect way to go, right? And neither can you with your success. Hey everybody, I'm Adam. Think about that for a second. This is May 30th and your daily dose of today. It's early here, y'all. I'm on the road in Nashville, and I'm going to try and here directly go and drop into CrossFit Music City. They have open gym, and go in there and do some workouts that were programmed by my instructors, or maybe jump in a workout with somebody else. Not been able to the last couple of days because very busy, very productive couple days. But we kind of have I don't know, it's not really a running joke, it's a known thing with me that I'm a very passionate person. And if you get on an issue or something I'm passionate about, I get really into it. And I'm going to tell you that how can I help? Those 4 magic words are one of those things. To me, that's almost a basic. If you want to be successful, learn it, repeat it, memorize it, make it a part of your ethos. And the reason why I want to talk about today is something I spoke a lot about yesterday, and that is having a bias for action. It's so important to have a bias for action. What does that mean? That means to actually, going back to Jocko Willink, in another book of his, The Dichotomy of Leadership, which is a book I'm finishing now, great book, he refers to it as default aggressive. In my business world parlance, it's called a bias for action. And what that means is that your default mode answer is to take action on something. We have a habit as human beings, and I went through this some yesterday in the sessions here, to debate, even with ourselves, to debate doing something and debate all the nuances of doing something. And unless we have it perfectly lined up, then we'll sit there and keep on debating and trying to convince ourselves to do something, either collectively again or singly. We'll sit there in our mind and debate. Oh, I thought about doing this, thought about doing that. Remember the very first one of these where I talked about I'd been wrestling with doing this. Same thing, right? And having a bias for action is so important, because people who have a bias for action have a tendency to actually get things done and to do things. These are people who are trailblazers. These are people who are not going to sit back and let others do it first or forge the path. Now, this is not saying or embracing a reckless behavior. As an old adage goes, only fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Right? So, but again, the dichotomy of leadership talks about this. It's a balance. You can't have, if you look at the Warfield, which is what Jocko Willink and Leif Babbin talk about in their book, you can't have platoon leaders or LPOs leading people recklessly, just knocking in doors and just go, 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 and just keep going, 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 and just knock down doors and go, go, go. They have to apply some intelligence. But they also, at the same time, they can't sit there and debate in a committee when they're under fire. They can't just sit there and keep taking fire because they don't know the perfect way to go, right? And neither can you with your success. And so why does this tie back to the 4 magic words? Because if your default response when you see somebody who's in need, and if your default response is, how can I help? You have taken action. You are there. You're taking fire, right? You've put yourself on the spot. And whatever comes out of their mouth is going to force you to make a response. Again, the response could be, wow, like I wish I could help in that way, but I can't. And like I said, that's acceptable. But it's the action for bias. Bias for action. I kept saying that, action for bias yesterday. And I got made fun of. That's okay. But it is so important. And not only is it serving and pouring into others, again, this is one of my top qualities for being successful in anything, but also it helps you create a bias for action, and that will translate to everything else. It teaches you to not be afraid of what you don't know. It teaches you to understand, I can handle the things that come at me, or I can find a way to make it work. Because they might come back and say, oh, well, I've got this big, how can I help? Well, I don't know what to do with this big thing. And you know what? You think, I could do this. Would that help? Oh yeah, that would help great. And it allows you to engage your mind, be a solution planner. And what are you trying to do if you're being successful, no matter what it is, right? You're trying to find some way to satisfy a need, whether that's through education, weight loss, your own personal needs, your family's needs, your children's needs, your community's needs, or if there's civic duties needs to your community or what have you, right? So again, you see why I'm a big fan of this. It's a lesson. So today, challenge is, if you didn't do it yesterday, find somebody today, engage in that conversation. If not, if you did, I want you to keep trying to find more ways to use it until it becomes part of your ethos. When you look at solutions and your first response mentally is, how can I help this situation? You see a situation, how can I help? How can I help? That's got to be a default response. I could do this, I could do that. And then you start getting that bias for action, and successful people have a bias for action. This has been your Daily Dose of Today.